Intel just announced the fastest laptop chip ever. It is an absolute beast, and it looks like it is going to smoke Apple's upcoming M2 Max in the 16-inch MacBook Pro. So in this video, I'll give you guys all of the info, how it's gonna compare to Apple's M2 Max, as well as some other issues and performance numbers that we have seen. Now this chip is called the i9 13980HX chip, when that stands for mobile processor. It is the highest end one that they have, and it runs up to 5.6 gigahertz in clock speed. Now that is absolutely crazy. Of course, it's gonna have to be cooled enough to reach that speed and to keep it up, which we'll talk about in just a bit, but it is also a 24-core processor, which in and of itself is pretty crazy. The M2 Max, well, that thing is gonna be a 12-core. Out of those 24 cores, it has 8 performance cores along with 16 efficiency cores, and it supports up to 128 gigabytes of RAM. So that's a good amount of RAM. It is also ultra fast. Now, compared to the previous generation, Intel said that this thing is 11% faster in single-threaded performance and up to 49% faster for multitasking. And the performance that I'm seeing is absolutely insane. Now, the previous 12th gen chip was already crazy powerful, beat out the M1 Max, everything but the Ultra, and this new chip looks like it even beats out the Ultra. Now, before I compare it to the leaked benchmarks of the M2 Max, let me show you the performance numbers that we already have. This right here is ranking from Cinebench, and if you take a look at this, we have 2,098 as far as single core score and 26,711 for multi-core. That is absolutely insane for a laptop. The M1 Ultra Max Studio that we tested scored 23,991, so it literally is beaten out by Intel's new laptop chip. Now, for those of you guys out there saying, this is insane, how much power does this thing suck and how much heat does it put out? That is the appropriate question, because it needs 157 watts to reach the maximum turbo power in a laptop. That is insane. Now, what's crazier is that the processor's base power is 55 watts. The Mac Studio maxes out at 60 watts maximum. And the 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Max, that hits a maximum of 30 watts. But a lot of times for both those, they actually run under when you're fully loading those systems. And Intel is saying you need a minimum of 45 watts designed in your laptop to be able to make sure this processor will run. So that is crazy. Now, before I do that comparison, we'll just talk about battery life. When we tested out the MSI Creator laptop, that one was powerful with 12th gen processors. It's a great laptop as long as you have it plugged in, but as soon as you unplug it, well, the performance goes down not only in the CPU, but also the GPU. And of course, the battery life is nothing compared to the 16-inch MacBook Pro. On that thing, you can run 3.5–4 hours of heavy rendering like we have done with Blender. You could do video editing, photo editing, and you'll still have a laptop that works. Whereas on the Windows laptops, well, they slow down a lot, and then the battery life could be even under an hour on something that is as insane as this. So these are not really laptops, they're more like desktop replacements, at least if you want to have the full level of performance. Now, Intel really advertises their efficiency cores, and that sounds nice, it sounds efficient, and this thing has 16 efficiency cores, but they are not the same thing as you will find in Apple's M2 chips. This forum user on MacRumors made a great point. Intel and efficient in one sentence is an oxymoron. And even though this has efficiency cores, they're not mainly for power efficiency, but for area efficiency, because 4 of the efficiency cores take up roughly the die space of 1 performance, but 2 of the cores are actually performing the same as a single performance core. So that means for easier tasks that don't need as high frequency or don't benefit from that, they could do that. Or if they need to have something that has a lot of performance and the maximum, they can use those larger ones. So it's not really designed for maximum efficiency. As you guys see by those wattages, they are super high, but just better use of the processor. Whereas Apple's efficiency cores, like I made in my efficiency video, you can put into low power mode and the CPU and GPU both went down to less than 2 watts each and gave us roughly 15 hours of battery life on the M2 MacBook Air, because they are incredibly efficient and they have great performance, and the system could just run on that, where here your battery life is not going to be good. And of course, with having to have that laptop plugged in, using a lot of power or bad battery life unplugged, we also have the issue of noise. Like this user said, where even opening up and importing photos to Lightroom kicked up the fans crazy high to cool it down. And of course, we've talked about that many times, we've seen it ourselves, because it's a lot of heat that is being put out, which is why we love our MacBooks. Now, with all of that said, we still have to compare the performance. These benchmark numbers here are insanely good, and scoring 21,090 in Geekbench or 26,981 in Cinebench, well, that will absolutely destroy even the best leaks that we have from the M2 Max. In our last update, we showed you guys the latest leaks where we saw the clock speed go up to 3.68 gigahertz, and that gave us better performance, whereas of course this goes up to 5.6, much higher. We saw a single core score of 2027 finally, whereas this new chip gets 2118. Now for multi-core, the best score we have for the M2 Max is 14,888 compared to 21,090. That is 70% better performance than the best M2 Max leak. That's a huge difference. Now, as far as Cinebench, we haven't seen numbers before, but we did get one leak. This was posted on MacRumors as well, showing the M2 Max getting 15,310 for multi-core. Now we found that this info is from nanoreview.com. Now here they have a lot of different information, including June 1st, 2023 for release. Now that is crazy. The chip is still ARM v8. It is the M2 Max. The cores and threads match up, but interestingly, the turbo boost frequency is 3.5, which lines up to the first Geekbench leaks that had lower performance, but not the higher 14,888 one. So this Cinebench R23 multi-core score of 15,465, that could go up, but we know that it will still not compete with 26,981. That is just an absolutely insane difference of performance. Now, we made many videos talking about the performance. It's a minor jump over the M1 Max. There's gonna be efficiency improvements with the new efficiency cores that come with the M2 chip. Might be 3 nanometers, depending on what performance we get. So we'll have to see. But Apple, once again, is no longer playing the maximum performance route, trying to do crazy chips in there, but a nice overall machine that is very powerful and that can run full performance on battery with great battery life. And overall is a great machine, not something that is very big, very thick, very heavy, that needs to be plugged in. Like the results with this chip from this Asus that came out, where it literally is an 18-inch laptop, this thick boy, to be able to handle this chip and probably not even at full performance. You guys let me know what you think. Is this kind of performance something you guys want? Or would you rather have a 16-inch MacBook Pro that had less performance, but that is nice and well balanced? And do you want Apple to try to compete with Intel in terms of maximum performance? Now, if you guys want to check out a 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Max that you can buy right now at a great deal, check out the YouTube shopping product page that's right over there. It pops up. Click above to subscribe to see more videos like this one. Check out those ones right over there, and I'll see you in the next one.